Hello everyone, welcome back to my vlog. My name is Karen. I will be filming a 24-hour reading vlog over the course of the next few days or however long this will take me to finish. If you have been on BookTube for a while, then you would know that a 24-hour reading vlog used to be that you literally would go to bed, wake up at like midnight, and then read until midnight the next day. So there are a few different ways to do it. So anytime that I read, I'm just gonna pick up my timer and time myself reading up until I finish 24 hours worth of reading in the next few days. Some people like to do 12 hours a day, 12 hours the next day, and then other people still do like the whole read from 3 p.m. to 3 p.m. sort of deal. However, I work a full-time job and life can get busy just doing all the life things. So I'll take you along my day and my reading journey with me. I made this really cute Kindle cover. I think I can do a better job with my next one that I make because this is a little bit small. I'm currently reading this book called Monsoon Mansion by Sanelle Barnes. It is a memoir, and the author actually lives in South Carolina and attended the same college, or she attended Converse University for her master's degree, and I went for my undergrad and master's. This is what the cover of the book looks like with like the actual color of the book. It is a beautiful cover. I'm reading this for my book club and we meet on Sunday, and I haven't read it. I just got back from a weekend trip celebrating my 2-year anniversary with my boyfriend. So my life is kind of messy right now, but we're sitting in front of my bookcase and we're gonna try and choose a book. I kind of want to finish, I know, after I finish Monsoon Mansion, I'm going to finish 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm about 175 pages in, so I think once I finish that in that like 4 hours, I can finish this in a couple. I might go for Tender is the Flesh because I have been like craving horror stories. Brandon and I have been watching horror movies recently, so maybe I'll pick this one up. I'm a really big mood reader, so I can't find another book on my shelf that I would be in the mood to read, but I know it would have to be something fun and light after reading Tender is the Flesh. So I have 3 books picked out so far, and I think I'm going to start this reading vlog officially in terms of counting my hours later tonight, right before bed. And then I'm like, I wish I had more of this, and if I just keep reading, sometimes or most of the time I'll get what I want. Not get what I want, but you know what I mean. Like the romance came right after I complained, but the romance in here, I don't know. Hello, hopefully this is filming me correctly, but I am in the parking lot of a Starbucks because right next door is the grocery store, and I'm waiting on Brandon to get here so we can go grocery shopping together. I think last night I mentioned that I won't be including my audiobook in my 24 hours. However, I have been listening to a lot of my audiobook while being like productive and doing other things like crochet. So I asked people on Instagram if they include their audiobooks within their 24-hour read-a-vlogs and readathons and things like that. So I'm trying to wait to see what everyone is saying before I include my audiobook. Or on stopwatch, I googled how to use the stopwatch just in case I wanted to use it, but I have my phone in case I need to like pick up on the time, and then I can add the time together. Timer starts now. Reading this audiobook, and it's called My Sister's Keeper, and I may have explained this earlier in the vlog before, but I watched a clip on Facebook of a scene in the film, and I remember watching this film years and years ago when I was much younger, and so I learned later that it's actually a book, and I purchased the book at one point, but I don't have it anymore. I don't know if I don't know where it's gone. I purchased the book at one point, had the intention for years to read it, but I haven't been motivated enough to pick up that thick ass book. So once I remembered that the film existed the other day, I was like, let me get through this audiobook. And so luckily my library has the audiobook. But anyway, if you don't know, My Sister's Keeper is a story that follows multiple perspectives from the Fitzgerald family. So Kate, the eldest daughter of the family, she's like 16 years old in the book, and she has this very like strong form of leukemia a lot of bone marrow aspiration. She's gone into like kidney failure, needs a kidney transplant. Have her older brother Jesse, and then there's Anna. Anna, she's the youngest daughter, and she was conceived through IVF. Like, geneticists and doctors specifically chose her embryo so that she would be a perfect donor match for her older sister Kate with whatever she needs. I think the parents' names are Brian and Sarah. And so Sarah, the mom, she used to practice law, and once she had her first two kids, she stopped practicing law and just became a mother full time, and then Kate got sick. The premise of this book is that Anna, at 13 years old, goes to Campbell Alexander with like $180 in her pocket, and she goes and hires him as her lawyer, so that she can sue her parents. So the whole book touches on family dynamics and motherhood, and yeah, it's just this is a very interesting book to read. Okay, so it is Tuesday. It's now 4:30 p.m. I'm about done with my work day. I am gonna go ahead and clean up a little bit, make some blueberry muffins, start cooking dinner, and just wait for Brandon to get back over here because it's just a quiet 9 to 5 work day. I am 32% ways through the audiobook, and that is about 4.5 hours so far, and we added another perspective. Now we have the perspective of the guardian ad litem, who is basically this person appointed by the court to advocate for Anna since she is a child. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up and start cooking and baking, but I'm gonna be listening to the audiobook until then. And then tonight, once Brandon comes over, because he does his own reading vlogs, he has a TikTok that I'll link below, I will go ahead and pick up my Kindle. But let me show you what I made. But I crocheted another Kindle cover. It has a little envelope here, and like, I didn't mean for this pattern to really look like this, but just because of the way the yarn is made, it kind of like wrapped around, which is pretty cool. But I made this by myself. Say hi to the vlog.
Hi vlog.
I'm trying to turn the timer on because there's a 24-hour readathon. There's different ways to do it.
It's not a readathon, Danny.
No, it is, because so there are 3 different ways to do it, and I was explaining it in the beginning of my vlog. Because back in the old days in YouTube, people would stay up from like 12 midnight and stay up to midnight the next day and read the whole time. And then another way to do it, people will do 12 hours one day, 12 hours the next day. And then another way people have been doing it recently, because people have since like YouTube has grown up with the people now have jobs, and so they'll read and count like their hours while they're reading.
Okay. When did you get your picture of me?
Well, I'm recording now. Okay, so I am finally done with my work day, and last night I was timing on my Shark watch my reading because that was the plan. However, this watch can literally only count up to an hour. So on my other phone where I'm like filming other things, I'm going to use that timer because that'll be easiest to keep track of. I'm about 20-something% ways through Monsoon Mansion, and so far this is really good. This is a memoir written by Sanel Barnes, and it opens up about her. It starts out with her childhood in the Philippines, and she comes from like a wealthy family. And there is this one there's just this one scene that made me tear up towards the beginning of the book already. So I'm really enjoying reading this right now, and just from the background that I know of Sanel Barnes, I'm not sure how this memoir is going to go, but I know I'm in for quite a ride. It is 5:08 p.m. and I'm already hungry for dinner, and I think tonight I'm going to go to Starbucks just so that I can get out of my house today.
Where'd you get that
New episode of Only Murders just dropped, so I got to do that first. glasses. I am now in my jammies for the night, but it is 10:37 and I'm listening to folklore now. I am about halfway through Monsoon Mansion, and it's so interesting. Reading this type of memoir after having met the person that wrote the memoir really makes you go, wow, you don't know what kind of shit other people have gone through before.
Stand down, Cap. He said it.
I completely lost all track of time while crocheting and listening to My Sister's Keeper on audio, because it is now 3:07 a.m. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I listened to like 4.5 hours of this audio. I am now 82% of the way through My Sister's Keeper, and I think I might just finish it tomorrow since I have 2.5 hours left. But I need to show you what I made. I made this little book bear case. Obviously, like I did this with no thought. I just crocheted and I just did it. Look at how cute this is. And I would better sew this. Like, this is definitely a little prototype, but the nose like sticks out and everything. I love it. I'm naming him Hank. Hank the bookcase, after the Bear and Breakfast Bear. If you know, you know. Okay, let me explain. Finished my work day. It's now, all right, so it's much later in the day after my work day. I did do some shopping, and while I was out and driving, I listened to my audiobook, and now I'm 92% of the way in. And I was thinking, originally this was supposed to be a 24-hour reading vlog, but honestly, this is just gonna have to be what I read in a week, because like, I really need to finish my book club book by Sunday. And at this rate, I'm not finishing it until I finish my audiobook, because I'm so invested in that. We're shifting this from a 24-hour reading vlog into like a what I read in a week sort of thing, but I do want to document how long it takes for me to read each one. So far, I'm at about 13 hours of the audiobook and 2 hours of reading. I gotta go pee. Like I said, I am about like 92% of the way in. I have 1 hour and 7 minutes left of this audiobook that I'm probably going to listen to now while I like clean and craft and things like that. I really like this audiobook. There aren't many. So I mentioned that I listened to An American Marriage as my last audiobook last week, and I was invested in that. This is another story that I'm invested in as well. I don't remember all of the movie that when I watched it years ago. Let me sit on my floor pillow. All of the characters are really well written in this story, and legit the only character we don't get the perspective of is Kate, who is the daughter with cancer and is in a hospital bed this entire time during this trial. I am going to finish this up since I only have 1 hour left. I can speed it up a little bit probably, but I do really want to like soak in the ending of this book, because I feel like this is more of a character driven book rather than plot driven, because the only thing with this plot, most of the plot was like told in flashbacks or characters' thoughts and things like that. And so the only like actual plot that we're following, well, there's multiple. We have Julia's subplot, and then we have the plot of this trial, and then every single other like piece to the story is based on all the different characters telling their side. However, like I mentioned earlier, the mom is the only one with her perspectives are all told in flashbacks from years and years ago. So I think this is just more of a character driven story because of that, and I'm finding that I do like character driven stories. The ending to this audiobook was absolutely disrespectful. I was not expecting it to end the way that it ends. I'm gonna talk about the audiobook and I'm gonna spoil the heck out of it. So if you don't want to listen, then skip ahead. So Anna wins the trial, and her lawyer ends up being a power of attorney, and medical decisions will be finalized by Anna herself and her power of attorney. So they stay, her and her lawyer Campbell stay at the courthouse and they sign paperwork. And like during this scene and a little bit before, it was described that it was raining so heavy. And so I guess Campbell, oh my God. Campbell and Anna leave and they go into a car accident. But we don't know this until we read the dad's perspective, where he's at the hospital after the trial, and he's at the hospital with his wife and with his other daughter, Kate, because she's getting dialysis. He gets a call because he's the fire chief. He goes to the site of the car accident, and when he gets into the car to pull people out, he realizes that it's Anna. And like, Anna is not responding to the CPR. She flatlines. And it was in this moment where I was like, oh my God, they're going to announce her brain dead and they're going to have to donate her kidney to Kate anyway. And that's exactly what happened. They get to the hospital and her lawyer, who was also in the car accident, he was fine. He shows up to the hospital or he's in the hospital trying to find Anna. And the doctor's like, she's brain dead. I know this is not what you want to hear, but is organ donation a thing we can talk about? Next scene, or next chapter, it's told from the mom's point of view and the experience of going in and saying that final goodbye after she had donated her kidneys. Okay, this is editing Karen, like weeks later, and I'm watching myself talk about this book. Sorry, my hair's so frizzy. And I realized the mom's perspective when she was talking about Kate was always in past tense. Like it was flashbacks. But this is one of the only chapters, I think, where she's talking about Anna in present tense, which is so interesting. And she's dead. Oh my God. Oh my God. And this entire time I have been saying we haven't gotten the perspective of Kate. But the very, very, very last chapter, the epilogue, the perspective is from Kate because she's still alive 8 years later. And just the very last chapter, the very last part of this book talks about the grief that the family goes through. However, we don't see it from the brother's perspective, but he's still in Kate's chapter. But oh my God, what was for her to go through the entire trial and then for this to be her fate anyway? I'm upset, but I also love this book, but I'm upset. I'm very conflicted. I think I'll give this like a 4 out of 5 stars. Oh my God!
A ridiculous ultimatum, and that's that if
we are on our way to our reading date.
She wants an open relationship. I can't make this up.
So this vlog was a total fail. It's Saturday morning, it's 7:45, and I'm about to eat breakfast, then head to Starbucks, and I think I'm just gonna edit this vlog and like crochet a little bit. So I was originally going to use this vlog as like a 24-hour reading vlog, but then it quickly turned into what I read in a week, and now I'm just kind of wrapping it up. Last night I finished Monsoon Mansion and absolutely love it. I love Sanelle Barnes's writing style. Despite how devastating and traumatic the experiences were that she was describing, she described it in such a sing-song, lyrical, beautiful way that it's not as, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how I feel about rating memoirs just because they're memoirs, and I guess you can rate a book based on the writing style, and if that's the case, this book is like a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. There were certain moments and chapters where I felt like it just jumped a little bit too much for me to like go with the flow of the actual storytelling, but other than that, I would highly recommend this book if you're looking for a very quick memoir to pick up. My Kindle told me that I had about like 5.5 hours to read it, but honestly, I think that's the audiobook length, but if you read faster than that, you'll get it done within a few hours. It honestly only took me like 3.5 hours to finish. Last night, Brandon and I went out to a reading date. We went to this beautiful park in downtown Greenville and found a bench and just sat and read for about an hour, which honestly helped me get a lot lot of reading done. Honestly, I don't have the energy in me to pick up another physical book right now. I really want to do another audiobook. And I might do that at Barnes & Noble, but I'm trying to flip through the Libby app to find something to listen to, and I'm not really vibing with anything. So I think I'm gonna take a look at like my bookshelf and my Storygraph and see what all I've been wanting to read. But anyway, I'm going to end the vlog here. So basically I read a 14-hour audiobook this week and then one actual book for 3.5 hours. And I feel like that's a good reading week for me because I don't think I finished a book last month. Hopefully this keeps up because my classes start on Monday. So we'll see how much time I actually dedicate to reading once my classes start back up. Anyway, I'm going to end the vlog here. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Go ahead, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you all in my next vlog. Bye, everyone.